Minister Rajnath Singh lauds army for containing terrorism, external attacks, says government is committed to reforms. First phase of Bihar polls comes to a close. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges voters not to bring back Jungle Raj. Union Minister of State for Ayush, Shripad Nayak, inaugurates new building of Regional Ayurveda Research Institute in Arunachal Pradesh. Country clocks close to 91% COVID recovery rate. First corona patient succumbs to infection in Mizoram. Arunachal Pradesh signs MOU with Sports Authority of India for setting up National Centre of Excellence. Good evening, viewers. Welcome to the Northeast News Bulletin. This is Jolly Khoikia Gogoi with the news in detail. In national news first, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said the government is committed to facilitate the army in their forward movement on the road to reforms and will help them to achieve advantages in all areas. Addressing the Army Commanders Conference in New Delhi today, he said the initiatives undertaken by the Indian Army in the current security environment makes him proud. Singh asserted that the government will leave no stone unturned to strengthen the armed forces. He said the Indian Army has been successful in addressing several challenges to the security and sovereignty of the country since independence. He added that the Army has played a significant role in neutralizing threats of terrorism, insurgency or external attacks. In more national news, in Bihar, polling concluded for the first phase of state assembly elections amidst tight security in 71 constituencies spread over 16 districts. Around 53.46% of eligible voters exercised their franchise till last reports came in. Chief Electoral Officer H.R. Srinivasa said people came to cast their votes with enthusiasm. This is the first election in the country amid COVID pandemic situation. Over 2 crore 14 lakh voters will decide the fate of more than 1,000 candidates. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said people of Bihar have taken a resolve to defeat those who brought Jungle Raj in the state and who looted Bihar. Addressing an election rally at Darbhanga, he said these are the people under whose government crime was rampant in the state. Modi addressed 3 rallies in the state today. In news from the Northeast, Union Minister of State for Ayush, Shripad Nayak, today virtually inaugurated the new building of the Ayurveda Regional Research Institute, Itanagar in Arunachal Pradesh. In a speech, Nayak said India has huge traditional medicinal heritage in the world and the country has attained a special status in terms of traditional health care practices. The institute in Arunachal was established in the year 1979. It has an outpatient department and is also engaged in the survey of medicinal plants in the state. The institute is a 10-bedded hospital with well-equipped laboratory for biochemistry and pathological investigations. Now we take a short commercial break. Stay with us.
ये विशाल है ना, इसका सब प्रॉपर चलता है।
कल उसके बैंक अकाउंट में 15,000 रुपए का फ्रॉड हुआ है, पता है?
इसको तो कोई टेंशन ही नहीं होती है, देखना।
टेंशन क्यों? मेरी कोई गलती नहीं थी। फिर भी फ्रॉड होने पर मैंने तुरंत बैंक को इन्फॉर्म कर दिया। आरबीआई कहता है अगर आपके अकाउंट से किसी ने धोखे से पैसे निकाले हैं, तो बैंक को जल्द से जल्द इन्फॉर्म कीजिए। 3 दिन के अंदर इन्फॉर्म किया तो कोई नुकसान नहीं होगा। जितना लेट करोगे उतना ज्यादा नुकसान। और सुन, सब चलता नहीं है, प्रॉपर चलाना पड़ता है। आरबीआई कहता है जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
Welcome back. India has leaped across a significant milestone in its fight against COVID. The national recovery rate has reached 90.85%. With an overall recovery of nearly 72,60,000 patients so far, the recovered cases in the country stand at nearly 12 times more than the active cases. Nearly 59,000 patients recovered and were discharged during the last 24 hours. The active case load of the country has also fallen below 8%. The total positive cases in the country today stands at 6,10,803. With a high number of COVID patients recovering every day and a sustained low mortality rate, India's trend of registering decreasing active cases continues. The fatality rate now stands at 1.50%. The Union Health Ministry has informed that 508 case fatalities were reported in the past 24 hours. In Mizoram, the first case of casualty of COVID-19 was reported today. Officials said a 62-year-old infected person, also suffering from comorbidities, has succumbed to the disease this afternoon. He was undergoing treatment at the Zoram Medical College and Hospital in Aizawl. Meanwhile, with a surge of infections in last few days, the state government has declared a lockdown in Aizawl municipal area. The lockdown in the capital town area began from Monday and will remain in force till early morning of 3rd of November. The decision has been taken to break the chain of transmission of the virus. In corona update from the northeast, in Arunachal Pradesh with 35 new cases, the total number of active cases has reached 2,139 with 36 deaths. In Manipur, the number of active COVID-19 patients is now 4,246 with 150 deaths. In Meghalaya, the number of active cases is 1,411. The death toll is 82. In Mizoram, the active cases stand at 373 with 1 death reported. Nagaland has a total number of 1,865 active cases with 33 deaths. Sikkim has 262 active cases, where the number of deaths stands at 67. In Tripura, there are 1,754 active cases with 344 deaths. In Assam, Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma in a tweet informed that 403 positive cases were reported during the last 24 hours. A total of 26,164 tests were conducted in that period and the positivity rate is 1.54%. 2,443 patients have recovered in the last 24 hours. The recovery rate is 93.28%. The upsurge in the coronavirus crisis goes on undaunted despite the relentless battle by frontline COVID warriors. While the active cases at the global level is pegged at 4,43,22,504, the number of recovered is 3,24,86,703 and the death toll is 1,01,73,189. In the COVID-19 global scenario, USA tops the list with over 90 lakh positive cases, followed by India and then Brazil with over 54 lakh cases. In Arunachal Pradesh, the Sports Department on Tuesday inked a memorandum of understanding with the Sports Authority of India to establish a National Centre of Excellence NCOE at the Sange Laden Sports Academy in Chimpu for boxing, wushu and weightlifting. Sai Regional Director Dr. Subhash Basumatari and Arunachal Sports Director Tadar Appa signed the MOU. The signing ceremony was virtually attended by Union Minister of State Kiren Rijiju and State Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Mama Natung. As per the agreement, the SAI will develop state-of-the-art sports facilities, including playfields, weather-allied facilities, hostel buildings and training centers with required facilities.
ऐतिहासिक MOU साइन हुआ और ये नेशनल सेंटर ऑफ एक्सीलेंस जो है ये एक नेशनल स्टैंडर्ड का होगा और इसमें अभी साई ने भारत सरकार ने हम लोगों को इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के लिए किट्स और स्पोर्ट्स का जितने भी आइटम्स हैं इक्विपमेंट है हमारा यहाँ में 3 डिसिप्लिन का साइन हुआ तो जैसे कि आपका बॉक्सिंग है वुशु है और काफ़ी कोचेस भी वहाँ से भेजा कोचेस वगैरह भी काफ़ी भेजा है इसको हम लोग अभी साई से काफ़ी हमारा भारत सरकार से काफ़ी मदद मिले.
In Assam, Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal today laid the foundation stones of Sabwa Sports Association Stadium and an indoor stadium at Chabua in Dibrugarh. Notably, the Sabwa Sports Association Stadium is to be built under the signature project of 2018-19 for 9 crore 88 lakh rupees and the Sabwa Indoor Stadium will be built for 2 crore 33 lakh rupees. The Chief Minister in his speech said the youth of the state have been able to excel in various sectors and has seen tremendous growth as a result of the sincere and unprecedented efforts taken up by the present state government. Union Minister of State for Food Processing, Ramesh Sharteli, was also present on the occasion, among others. The air connectivity between Bangladesh and India resumed on Wednesday, with 2 flights leaving Dhaka under the air bubble arrangement between the two countries. The service was inaugurated at the Hazrat Shah Jalal Airport in Dhaka by the High Commissioner of India in Bangladesh, Vikram Doraiswamy, and the Chairman of the Civil Aviation Authority of Bangladesh, Air Vice Marshal Mafidur Rahman. The first 2 flights operated by the US Bangla Airlines left for Kolkata and Chennai from Dhaka this morning. Meanwhile, the Director General of Civil Aviation today said international scheduled commercial passenger flights from India will remain suspended until the 30th of November. However, international cargo flights and passenger flights approved by the government will continue to remain operational. In Meghalaya, the Shillong Traffic Police have decided to impose fines on drivers misusing the hazard light as per Section 177 of the Motor Vehicles Act. As per this section, people may have to pay a fine up to 300 rupees for abusing the hazard light. Primarily, the use of hazard lights is to warn other drivers that the vehicle is in temporary obstruction, usually after a breakdown or an accident. But in Meghalaya, some people use hazard lights to indicate driving straight at a junction. DD News spoke to a number of citizens to know their reaction to this decision.
Driving school, and they don't teach us to use the hazard lights to go straight or anything of that sort. And I have found that only in Shillong and Meghalaya people, they use this hazard light.
To end the news, the headlines once again. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh lauds army for containing terrorism, external attacks, says government is committed to reforms. First phase of Bihar polls comes to a close. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges voters not to bring back Jungle Raj. Union Minister of State for Ayush, Shripad Nayak, inaugurates new building of Regional Ayurveda Research Institute in Arunachal Pradesh. Country clocks close to 91% COVID recovery rate. First corona patient succumbs to infection in Mizoram. Arunachal Pradesh signs MOU with Sports Authority of India for setting up National Centre of Excellence. Before taking leave, viewers are reminded to maintain social distancing, frequently use soap and sanitizer, and properly use the mask for your own security. Mask Up India. That brings us to the end of this Good News Bulletin. Thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.